I hope it has been wonderful. Well, today we are going to be talking about 2026. 2026 is a powerful year, and it's a year in which you have a choice playing right before you. This is one year in which, for everyone watching this content, everyone in this event or in this meeting this evening, you have a choice. And that choice is looking at you right now, staring at you. It gives you an opportunity to choose how that 2026 is going to pan out. Okay? So I'm going to start by asking you a question. And the question is this: how has 2025 been for you? How has 2025 been for you? So you're going to do something. You're going to do a rating from 1 to 10, 10 being excellent, and 1 being poor. Okay, so you're going to do a rating, and in that rating, you're going to say, okay, for faith, that's a relationship with God, for family, for finances, for relationships, those 4 metrics. You're going to grade them. So, right, faith, family, finances, relationship, and maybe career. Okay, so check how you have performed in 2025. So you can scale it from 1 to 10. All right, so you can do that right now. Number 2, the second question I'm going to ask this evening is, if you do exactly what you did in 2025 in 2026, how will your life pan out if you just repeat everything or every process that you had in 2026? If you repeated that process, how would your life pan out in 2026? Everything you did in 2025, if you repeated it, how would it pan out in 2026? Okay, so you're going to scale that to, right, faith, family, finance, relationships, and career. So you scale it from 0 to 10. 10 being excellent, 0 being poor. Right? So write that down and grade yourself. Okay? So my third question to you this evening is, are you sure you want to apply the same method you applied in 2025 into 2026? The same method, the same system, the same structure you had this year. Would you love to apply that same method in 2026? So if your answer is yes, well, you might be on the right track. But if your answer is no, you're on the wrong track. So we're going to be talking about creating and navigating your financial path in 2026. Our job here is to ensure that you are able to have an outcome that complies with your goal. That's the job. That's our job here this evening. So we're going to first start by talking about the economic outlook. What are the expectations based on the economic indices for 2026? Right? And then we're going to begin to proceed into what most people do year in, year out. And then we'll now tell you what we think you should do. It's not what you think, but principles you should apply as you go into 2026. I'm going to talk to people that were part of the Exponential Research Summit. If you were part of that summit, this is like taking the next step, because it's going to give you a different view, or put some of those resources together so that you can know where to start immediately. Okay? All right. So let's get going. 2026 outlook. This year, 2025, I mean, many people would say that it didn't really favor them. But let's look at 2026. What are the expected indices for 2026? For our economy in 2026, so we got this data from a combination of resources from IMF, World Bank, Africa Development Bank, and also from looking at the 2026 budget that the president submitted yesterday. All right, our economy in 2026, the inflation is going to be between 14 to 19%. Okay, so that means that means prices of things will go up, okay, but not significantly, between just 14 to 19% for 2026. Second, the exchange rate will be between 14.51 and 15.90. Well, that's just what the exchange rate was around in this year. Then the GDP between 3.1 to 4.68%. All right. The good thing is that GDP is going up. There are indices that helps the country. All right. 2026 is a pre-election year, which makes it makes it kind of different. So what happens in 2026? What will happen in 2026? There will be government spending. Government is going to spend. Politicians are going to roll out the bags in 2026. So government spending. Then the rate for bond rate is going to plummet. So this is going to affect bonds. It's going to affect treasury bills. It's going to affect your mutual funds. Okay, the rates will be going down in 2026. Okay, well. Okay, let's talk about the Nigerian stock market. This is one beautiful part. The Nigerian stock market in 2026 is going to be valued at about 262 trillion naira. Currently, the Nigerian stock market is less than 100 trillion naira. So that means there's going to be appreciation in that market. Wow, that's beautiful. But what's going to cost this 262 trillion naira? That's like 1.6, 160% appreciation. What's going to cost that? Well, number one, the bank recapitalization is going to end in. Okay, someone drops a message. Let me see this. Okay, thank you so much, Coach Dari. I'm getting massive value. Beautiful, thank you. Let me go and buy shares. Not financial advice, guys. Well, I mean, not financial advice. So this is it. So let me talk about what's going to cost that growth in 2026. Number one, the banks are going to go through their recapitalization process. So most of the banking stocks might be a good one, but of course, long-term holding, I mean, is more favorable than short-term gains. So that's one. Another one is that Dangote Refinery is going live in 2026. So that's going to add a lot to the market. Well, NNPC was supposed to come out in 2026, but from what were the figures we are getting, NNPC might not show up anytime soon. So it might be like 2027, 2028, but they might have a pre-listing. Well, I also didn't research it, so don't ask me questions about that. We might do a pre-listing next year, but 162 trillion naira is going to be added to the stock market. So here's the other part: foreign investors. The foreign investors, I mean, have been active in the market, and of course, Nigerians have also been active in the market. I think about 2 million thereabouts, between 2 and 6. I've forgotten the numbers. 2 to 6 million Nigerians have been added to the stock market between 2022 till date. So if you're in the stock market, maybe you're kind of early. So, but what's going to happen with foreign investors next year? Now, the behavior of the foreign investors over time is that whenever we are in a pre-election year, in the second half of that year, foreign investors begin to cash out. That means foreign investors begin to exercise fear and doubt in the economy at that time. Well, that is history. Okay, so all right, thank you, Easy. So, but that's likely what's going to happen in Nigeria in 2026. So you have to be prepared for it. Right. Oil prices is going to plummet. Nigeria's budget says that it's predicting, I mean, that the oil price will be around $64. I mean, that's what the budget says. But certain metrics says that oil prices may plummet to between $53 per barrel to about 65-ish. So, of course, that's going to affect the Nigerian budget. Gold is going to go up. Gold is about, today, is about $4,300. So gold will likely rise to $4,900 in 2026. So it's just going to get about $600 added. Interest rates are also going to plummet. Of course, when interest rates plummet, what's going to happen? There will be more borrowings, but most people, most retailers like that, what they will be doing is to be borrowing because the rate is low. But of course, if you've been here not long enough, you know that when you want to do some borrowings, you should do borrowings for assets and not for liabilities. So that's the outlook in 2026. So what's it going to feel like? There's not going to be any real difference. Nothing really changes in 2026. You see, last year when we had this call, I also told people that it's going to be a tough year. And of course, you can attest to that. But nothing is really going to change. People are still going to suffer because inflation is still going to bite. At these days, people find it difficult to even eat 3 square meals, like they say. But let's also talk about the global economy. In the global economy, rates are going to still go down. All right, rates are going to still go down. It's going to be one boring year, more of like a consolidation. So I think to a large extent, one of the things that world leaders are avoiding is a recession because the economy goes in booms and busts. So, but there's this trying to avoid that bust and all that. But I mean, most of the studies or documents that I've read, none of them points to the certainty of a recession. But we should always brace up either way. Okay. So if nothing is going to change in the economy per se in 2026, the first question I asked him to start was that what was the experience in 2025? And that if you wanted to repeat that same experience in 2026. So the question is, how then do you change your experience if you don't like the experiences you had in 2025? How do you do that? Now, this has a couple of things that people do. You see, most times people expect a change from the government. Okay, when the government changes, and that's why many people were mad at, okay, the current president, he's not my president, did all that and all that and all that. Now, please understand this. Government is meant to do what government is meant to do. Government has a structure, they have ways by which they operate that does not really care about your emotions, how you feel, how you do anything. That's how government functions. Anywhere in the world, they really don't care about your emotions. Yes, they will say, okay, we are coming up with this policy. But one thing that happens most times is that most of the policies that they set up that is proper, you find out eventually it hurts the economy. So the economy, going to the second thing, people are expecting an economy improvement, but the economy is doing what it is meant to do. I was reading a document by Larry Fink. That's is it the chairman or the CEO of an $11 trillion hedge fund manager, BlackRock. So he said something. So he said that he has been approached by people, and then they've said things like, what's happening in the economy? You see that there is this chart that came out also that was said to be one very old chart, and then saying that 2026 is going to be another recession and all that. And then he said that investors were asking, what's going to happen in 2026? I said something, said, what's going to happen in 2026 is the same thing that has been happening over the years. He's been in the industry for 50 years. Said it's the same thing. It's the same circle. Whatever had happened in history is likely to repeat itself. Because the economy is quite delicate and nobody wants to rupture it, really. Trump has been able to shake on a couple of things, but nobody wants to rupture it. So your salvation is not coming from the government, it's not coming from the economy. Neither is it coming from your boss from having a raise or your employer. It's not coming from there. It's not even coming from an exchange rate that's going to suddenly change. So some people have said things like, oh, just imagine that the naira goes to 200 naira. I'm sorry, 200 naira to $1. Well, the economy is doing what it is meant to do. But here's the question. Are you doing what you are meant to do? So I could remember, I think it was around 2022, 2021, 2022, after post-COVID. So we started this business, and the business was dependent on exchange on foreign currency. In fact, I think within that period, we've experienced 2 bouts that dealt with us. So what we did was, okay, based on the government policy, we had to pack up and move on. Because the change is not coming from any of this, and you need to get it right. One of my colleagues in the office was asking a question, and she said that she has not heard me really talk about government, economy, and all that. So because they really don't matter. They are doing what they have been programmed to do. They know that there are extents in which when they go below that extent, everything crashes. And everybody is trying to manage it like an egg. So where is this change going to come from? Please understand this, that the economy, whatever, is really not about equality. Sorry, it's really not about equity, but about equality. How do I mean? Equality is giving everybody the same platform to start, and whoever is at advantage enjoys it. Equity is giving those who are not at advantage opportunity to be at advantage. Maybe to power up, or to even be at advantage. Equity. Now, but this is what the global space does. Gives equality, opportunity for you to stand on the same platform as others. Well, and now if you now then have an advantage, it's a plus. So nothing really is going to change in any time soon. If you're not able to pull through, you will not be able to pull through. If you're not able to change your game, you will not be able to change your game, your reality, sorry. If you cannot change your current experience, you will not change your outcome. So nobody is planning to put you on that equity. Even in places in which they say they run socialist government, you still see the difference. So I'm just saying this, that really nobody is coming to save you. Nobody. Not even when you vote a kind of candidate or one candidate has said everything. A lot of that has happened. Candidates making promises. Nobody really is. So how do you then experience a change in 2026? Because this reality is not going to happen. It's going to be about equality, much more than it is about equity. So I want you to read this wherever you find yourself. Nothing changes until the man in the mirror changes. 2026 is going to be about you, your God, what you know and what you can do. It's going to be about you, your God, what you know and what you can do. So get that right. Nobody's changing the game for you. Nobody's going to press some buttons for you. Even when they do, it's not going to be there for you. It's likely not going to be there for you for forever. It's just going to be those kind of opportunities happen to 1% of people or less than 1% of people. So that's what you want to bank your 2026 on. What if today you can make a decision that will turn around that year for you? What if you know the 5 pillars that are responsible, that can give you that push above where you currently are? So this evening, I want you to look, I just want you to imagine that you're looking at a mirror and tell yourself, I am going to do what it takes to make 2026 a different year. I want you to tell yourself that. Write it down. Write it down your parchment, your writing notes. Say, I am going to do what it takes to make 2026 a different year. Because it all starts with a decision. It all starts with your decision. That's where the game starts. Okay? So here's the question. Sorry. For you to enter into 2026 and still feel fulfilled, who must you become in that year is more important than what must you do. Who you must become in 2026 is more important than what you must do in 2026. So I'm going to talk about 4 types of people in every society. I've talked about this in many of our sessions, but I'm going to repeat it, being the last class in this year. And I want you to hear it well. Okay, there are 4 types of people in every society. The first type of people are the survivors. These are people that are barely getting through. So, and there are 2 types of people here. Those that are in the poverty line and those that are in the poverty trap. Those in the poverty line, people in which their income is not able to even sustain the barest minimum in life. So these are the people you can say are in extreme poverty. The barest minimum. They can't go beyond the barest minimum. But this is it. Some people tend to do well, but they push themselves into the poverty line. Why? Maybe they got into debt, into things that would shrink their regular income such that they cannot even meet the barest minimum for survival. Those are the people in the poverty line. Then we have the people in the poverty trap. These are people that are doing quite well, comfortable, but if anything happens to their job, they are gone. They cannot enjoy 1 month without that job. That lifestyle will drop drastically. They cannot maintain that lifestyle for another 1 month. All these guys are the survivors. So as I begin to take these sessions, I would like you to begin to write anywhere you find yourself. Are you a survivor? Are you in the poverty line or in the poverty trap? If anything happens to your job today, are you done for? Meaning that if anything happens to your job today and you don't have any other source of income in the next 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months, would you still be able to maintain your lifestyle? Would you still be able to pay your bills? The survivors. The second kind of people are the successfuls. These are people in which anything happens to their job, they are still okay for the next 1-2 years. They can still live the same lifestyle without panicking. Right? Because most times they also have streams of income or an investment that pays the bills. Aside the fact that they already have an emergency savings, they still have medical expenses, even if anything happens to them, and the HMO cannot cover it. These are the successfuls. Okay? The next, we have the significant. These are people that have gone beyond being successful to being so relevant in the life of many people. Why is that? Because they now have created an economy for people their their creations, be it money, be it systems or structures that they've put in place, help people to live their life, at least to be able to stay in the survival stage, to be able to have something to eat, something to live on. Significant. So these are the significant people because they are so significant in their lives, and you have a lot of people praying for them not to die. Like someone said if you owe the bank 300,000, for instance, the bank will be running after you. But the day you owe the bank in billions, the bank will be praying for you. Your salesperson has become your prayer warrior. The significant. So these guys are the ones that have impacted lives. They are currently impacting life. Anything happens to them, it affects a lot of people, especially if they don't put structure into it. The significant. The last kind of people in every society is the visionaries. These are people that are now living beyond themselves. They are never worried about their income or anything that has been taken control of, even that for their children or their children's children has been taken care of. And guess what? They set up systems. So there's a problem in a society, they can build systems like the Dangotes of this world. So I'm going to ask you a question. Sometimes people say things like, oh, I don't want too much out of life. But here's my question for you. Of which of these 4 stages, the first question, which of these 4 stages do you currently belong? Write it down. The stage I belong is XXX. The second question I'm going to ask is, which of these 4 stages do you hope to get to in the next 20 years? Which of these 4 experiences do you hope to replicate in the next 20 years? I need you to write it down. Let me do a guess. In my guess, I would guess that nobody is hanging on to being a survivor for the next 20 years. And if you don't mind, you can share with me the stage in which you want to be at in the next 20 years. You can drop a chat. Let me see. Let me see the minds of the people that are here. Okay? So if you don't want much out of life, you never will say that you want to be in the survival stage. I've never seen anybody that says that they want to live and die in the survival stage. But do you know what? A lot of people die as survivors. In an economy like ours, in which the top 1% is only 7,200 people in a population of over 220 million. So you have up to 90% of people who live and die in the survival level as a survivor. Okay, so all right, I love that. Yes, Eunice says that I am at the survival stage now. Okay, all right. So we're going to do a work. So the next question you want to ask yourself is, where do you see yourself in 20 years? All right, because this is it. At the end of it, if you have identified where you want to be in the next 20 years, you begin to talk about it, you begin to communicate it and say that I am a visionary. So if that's where you want to be, drop in the comment section and say, I am a visionary. In the next 20 years, I am a visionary. If you don't want so much out of life, you can say you want to be significant. I am a significant person in the next 20 years. I need you to write it in the comments. I don't have only Eunice in this group. I have many other people. So I want to see your comment, guys. I want to see your comment. All right. So while I wait for your comments, okay, so someone dropped a comment right away. Okay, so please, the state for significance is what? I didn't get the name. It's success. Success. Okay, so Wale says, I am a visionary. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, who else is talking there? Okay, I am a visionary. Perfect, beautiful, beautiful. I'm having visionaries here. So, Andalin, is it like you're saying that you want to settle with success? I want to know what you guys want, what you guys are expecting. Eunice, I've not seen your response. I need to see that response. I need you to flip that card and tell me where you want to where you want to be in 20 years. So I need everybody to just choose one. Even if you don't believe it, just choose, right? Because it is a work you have to do. Okay, Aneka, I'm visionary on my mind. Beautiful. Eunice, thank you. Yeah, it is. I am a visionary. Yeah, so this is what you're going to do. You're going to begin to say this to yourself as much as possible. Okay, so Andeli says, that's when I joined. Okay, this is okay. All right. So you need to choose. All right. You need to choose. And then what you do is this after choosing, you need to begin to confess it and gain clarity on it. So I've talked about being a visionary. You want to go and do more research about it until you really understand it. Not only that you understand it, but your neurons even understand it. Okay. So that you don't define yourself by your current situation, but by the identity you have made of yourself. All right, so let's go on. Now, this is it. Everyone experiences obstacles. It's not peculiar to you. So, irrespective of where you are at, and you say, okay, I am a visionary, you will still experience obstacles. Of course, of recent, everybody should have seen the drama going on with Dangote and all these guys, such that the MD, I mean, the leadership of the NDPRA or something, had to resign. So we will all experience obstacles. Where you are headed in life is not as a result of the obstacles. I mean, it's not a function of the obstacles ahead of you. It's not. It's a function of that. We're going to talk about what you can do in 2026 that will begin to reshape your experience in 2026. So we all experience obstacles. There are obstacles in 2026. The obstacles are not going anywhere. In fact, those elements that most people rely on now become the obstacles. The government becomes the obstacle, the economy becomes the obstacle, but you must be able to rise above them. So if you want to create your desired outcome, you must also identify your own personal obstacles. Those elements or things in your life that you have leaned upon. But those same elements are the elements or things that limit you. So I'm going to talk about a couple of them. Now, here's what most people do. They trust that when they get into 2026, that this brain is going to give them what they want. See, hey, I know what it is because I don't have X. But this, do you know what's inside this brain in 2026? As we go into 2026, don't trust your brain. And I say that again, don't trust your brain. Because by the time we begin to talk about the kind of goals you have to set, you will see that your brain would not be able to carry that outcome you want. Because our brains are like softwares. Okay? And then there is a software that cannot carry a kind of result. Is that how to say it? Let's say you're running on, I don't know if there's a Windows 1 or Windows 2, you're running on Windows 2. There are several activities or several engagements you cannot participate in our current world. So what you need to do as we go into next year, for you to get to that place in which you have to trust your brain, is to upgrade the systems of that brain. Whatever you have known till date, whatever you have known till date, if that thing you know till date has not given you the result, and you've been practicing it for like 5 years, if that thing is not giving you the result, then that means you need to do a system update on that brain. We're going to talk about that as we go. Number 2, trust your emotions. So some people live so much in their emotions. So I started, but I stopped feeling like, oh, I am not going to do it because I don't feel like. When I get the feelings, that's quite interesting because this is it. You are not required to depend on your emotions. You're not required to depend on your emotions. So, has this ever happened to you? You have said you will not. So let's talk about parents, for instance. You've told yourself, I'm not going to yell. 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 You've told yourself like a donkey times. And then this beautiful day, your child just gets on your nerve by doing one stupid thing. And then suddenly you're like, you just went all the way. And that's because you cannot depend on emotions. But you are supposed to create a system that will make emotion irrelevant. So imagine you say, okay, I'm not going to yell, I'm not going to yell. That's what you have told yourself. But you now create a system of learning how to put that emotion under. Even the Bible says you should learn to put your body under. So you have gone through a system of learning, you have gone through a system of practice, you have that knowledge that can strengthen you. I'm not saying that you would get to that place and then you won't have it once it well. But the truth is, as you begin to go through that process, you find out that your emotions begin to die. That means your emotion no longer responds to it. So what you should do is to create a system that makes your emotion irrelevant. So personal experience now. So something happened. I can't remember what it was, but something happened. All right, so something happened. I think it was last week. So my wife said, "Oh, she wasn't going to tell me because she doesn't want to mess up my day." I was away. I was in the office on that day. Like that, and then I already told her I had a series of activities I needed to close that day. I think I was in the office till past 7 that day, which is really, really rare. I think, yeah. So, and then she was like, I said, "Don't worry, just say it." And then she told me, I was like, "Okay, all right." I still went back to do the things that, but the normal me, I'm I messed up for the day. Even if that was told to me in the morning, it's messed up. But it is learning, going through a process that makes your emotions, makes you not to depend on your emotions. Number three, people believe, most people trust luck. Say, one day I will make it. One day. I was on a conversation today with someone that they've been supporting for quite a while. And then this guy has been doing a certain thing for over 20 years. And then all he wanted was to continue that thing because he was waiting for the lucky day. So they've been having a conversation earlier this year, and I told her, I said, "You guys need to do something right now." I think it was like the first quarter of this year. I said, "Stop supporting this guy. They've done everything to move him away from what he currently does." I said, "Just stop supporting this guy." So she spoke with some other people, and then they stopped supporting him. It was like a tug of war and all that. They've already told him, "Okay, go to this place, then you will get something else to do. You get a job there and you'll be paid well." But he's been there for over 20 years, waiting for luck. And then on the conversation, I heard the guy still saying a lot of things. I mean, he has gone to that place after about 6 months, still saying a lot of things. But this is it. They had to go through that process of having to manage the situation such that they were not responding to the guy's name until he made that shift. Because people can trust luck, favor, prayers for 20 years, 30 years, and still have no experience. And I still repeat the same experience. 1 minute, please. Sorry, guys. Okay. So, trusting luck. No, luck is not going to work because you can hang in on luck for years and still not get lucky. Number two, trust the willpower. Say, when I get there, I will be able to do this. When I get there, when I get my next raise, okay, I'm moving from 300 to 400. By the time I get to 400, I'll be investing 100,000, depending on your willpower. our willpower fails. Even Jesus' willpower failed at some point. When he was faced with the deal of the cross and he said something, he said, Father, I wish that this does not happen. But I wish that this cup can pass over me. But not my will, but your will be done. So our willpower is not, was not built to sustain us all through. These are elements in our lives that God placed in our lives so that they can give us control, give us perception at certain times. But we're not meant to depend on them. You see, some people depend on their brain so much that everything that they have to do is in the brain. Nothing is in this is written down. Everything. And you expect that you're overworking the brain. Do you know that the less major task you give to your brain, the better the decisions you make? But if your brain stores everything, it can't do everything for you. So guys, as we enter into 2026, you want to be ensured that you're not depending solely on your brain without an upgrade. You're not depending on your emotions, on your feelings, or whatever you want to do in 2026. Okay? You're not saying, oh, when my feeling is right. That's not it. You set up systems that will make your feelings irrelevant. Number 3, you're not waiting for luck. Luck can't come in anywhere. Well, you may be lucky, but why not just position yourself? Because some people have been faced with opportunities. And then at that time, they say, that was the opportunity I was looking for, but they were not ready for it because luck is opportunity meeting preparations. How hard have you prepared? Then trusting your willpower. In fact, this is one thing that you shouldn't even do. So let's talk about the 5 steps to creating your desired outcomes in 2026. Now, most of these thoughts are taken from the scriptures, also from conversations that I have had with mentors, and from learning. So I'm going to share them in only 5 steps. Right? So in creating that 2026 you desire, the first step is to get clear. Get clear on what you want for 2026. What exactly do you want? What exactly do you want? And last week and upper week, when we had the exponential research, we were talking about what exactly do you want, and we say that whatever you want in 2026 that is not attached to a number is actually a wish. And then we said something. We said set only one goal. The other part is for them, but they understand. I say after setting one goal, there's something else you are supposed to do for them. All right. So, what exactly do you want in 2026? Okay. I want to make 10 million naira. That is numbers. I want to lose 20 pounds. That is numbers. I want to spend 1 hour every day. Sorry, 1 hour every week, every day. Sorry, with my children. That is numbers. I want to spend 1 hour every day studying about how to handle my emotions. That is so clear. So whatever you want in 2026 must be so clear that you know the numbers. When it comes to your business, how much do you want to make in 2026? If God appeared before you today and then ask me what you want in 2026, do you know that some people will still say, okay, one thing, Abby. One thing, okay, I want to have time with my children and make money and get promotion. And one thing, what exactly do you want? And I need you to write this down. What exactly do you want? Those guys at the Exponential Research Summit, write down what you actually wanted from the summits that we have been talking about 2 weeks ago. What exactly do you want? Write it down. Number 2, who must you become? And what must you do to get it? Who must you become? Talks about identity. Who must you become to be able to get it? So let's say that next year you said, okay, I'm going to make 10 million naira. All right. I want to be, that's a decamillionaire, right? I want to make 10 million naira, decamillionaire in 2026. So when you say that, okay, who must you become? You must be a decamillionaire. Identity. I'm still going to talk about identity. So, yeah, you must become a decamillionaire in 2026. Okay, you say that you want to be a better father. All right. Okay, so who must you become? A great father in 2026. Okay, what exactly do you want to say? Okay, I want to be able to spend 1 hour every day or 30 minutes daily with my kids. What exactly do you want? Then, and what must you do to get it? Or to become it? Okay, I want to be a great dad in 2026. So, what must I do to get it? All right, spend time, allocate the time, schedule it over time. What must you do to become it? I want to make a 10 million naira next year in this budding business. So, what must you do to become to what must you do to get it? All right. Okay. Do I want to move to content creation? Do I want to move to this? Do I want to add this to that? Those things have to be clear. By now, you should have whatever you want in 2026 ready. That's the step one. Step two. Oh, sorry. So let's go to step two. Align your heart and your identity with what exactly you wanted, with what you're clear about. Align your heart and identity. Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. So align your heart. How do you align your heart to something? Okay, by spending your way to it. That's the interesting thing. Have you ever invested in something or put your money into something and then that thing crashes? You see how you feel, how the pain feels. Align in your heart. Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Okay, so sometimes people have dreams, people have visions, and then they can't commit a penny from their income. So I met this guy sometimes before COVID. I think it was around 2018, 2019. So I met this guy, and the guy was like, "Oh, okay, so 20." He said he wants to start a business, and I already knew that he was driving at that time, driving and making money from driving. So he said, "I want to start a business in the next year." No, before the end of this year. I said, "Okay, what's it?" The guy told me what he wanted to do. I said, "Oh, fantastic, that's beautiful." So what's the next? He said he wants to raise money and he wants me to support. It's like, wait a minute, what's that? So when he now said it, he now said, "Okay, he would need me to support with 50,000 naira." Like 50K. And I asked him, I said, "Okay, how much do you want?" And then he went story. So, but that's why, to a large extent, when people have not made financial commitments to their goals, to their dreams, it is not encouraging that you give them the money. Some might be somewhat lucky because you have to first fail with your money, align your heart, commit your money towards that path, and your identity with that goal. So that takes us back to becoming. The reason I emphasized identity in this and in the first one because identity is more important than the goal. Your identity is more important than the goal. If you have a goal and you have not identified and you have not become it, you will find it difficult to identify. I mean, to realize that goal. I want to become a better father in 2026. So you've highlighted, okay, what must you do to become, yeah, what must you do to become it? What must you do to achieve it? You've gone through that, but now you need to connect and say things like, I am a better father. The reason you have to identify with that goal is because your brain has to comply with that goal. Whatever your brain does not recognize or you have not consciously programmed into your brain, the brain sees it as a virus. Has this ever happened to you? That an event happened, and then you were just trying to remember it. Because this is the way the brain is designed. The brain is designed to delete the information you don't need and to empower the ones you need. And that's why whenever you decide that, okay, I want to get this car or I want to get this laptop, you begin to see it often because your brain now recognizes it as a valid information and not a virus. The reason most people have not been able to achieve their goals is because the brain sees it as a virus. It has not seen it yet as a necessary software for running. So you must identify. So aligning your heart is about commitment. Okay. Aligning your identity, aligning your heart requires commitment. Okay. Commitment with your time, your money, your resource. But aligning your identity requires confession. Whenever you keep telling yourself that this year I am a decamillionaire, I am a centimillionaire, your brain first continues to reject it, So let's say it this way, let's say it another way. Whenever you go for a vaccine, you go for a vaccine, sometimes or most times, what happens in that case is that you are injected with that virus so that your body will build resistance against it. So you need to inject yourself with this virus that is strange to it until that body recognizes it. Align your heart through commitment and identity through confession with that goal. The Bible talks about you having what you say if you believe in your heart. The process of believing goes beyond the heart because the heart has to make a commitment, but the brain has to be infused, programmed with it. I know you know about the conscious and the subconscious mind. But how does the subconscious mind? The subconscious mind is responsible for the things you do without thinking. But how does that subconscious mind get programmed? It gets programmed through consciousness. That is how you align your identity with it. Step 3, get equipped. Get equipped. So you have said that in 2026, you want to be a deca or a centimillionaire. One of the things I encourage people to do is that in the first quarter of that year, get equipped. So what do? You infuse yourself with rapid knowledge, rapid and predictable knowledge within that first 3 months. Rapid. That means intensity. So that means you start gradually and then begin to gain intensity through knowledge. Okay, I want to be a decamillionaire in 2026. How do you get equipped? Begin to learn about becoming a millionaire. All right, begin gradually because your software might still, your brain might still not be able to process it. Begin to learn, begin to read books, begin to get programmed. And that's why in January 2026, we are having a program that will program you. A 1-month intensity education where you are going to be programmed for 31 days. And we hope that you will be able to continue for the remaining 60 days. That's for the first quarter. Get equipped with knowledge. You get equipped with 3 things: knowledge, skill, and ability. All right? Ability through practice, skill through learning, knowledge through learning. Get equipped. The first 3 months of 2026, you are getting equipped. You are getting all the knowledge you need to get equipped for that goal that you set. That which you already said, okay, this is what I'm so clear about. This is who I want to become in 2026. So rapid and consistent. You have to do it every day. Infuse your mind daily with the knowledge of where you are headed. All right, you're a salesperson and you say that in 2026, all right, in 2026, I'm going to make a sale of 100 million, for instance, and then get a commission of, say, 30 million. Beautiful. Get equipped. There are people that are doing more than that. Who are you listening to? Who are you learning from? Get equipped. The first quarter of your year is supposed to be year of learning, practicing, learning and practicing. So even the first 1 month, just do learning. Just equip yourself for that year. Equip yourself for that goal. All right. Once you gain clarity, you are equipping yourself because now you know what you need. Step 3. Step 4, initiate systems and structures. I'm not going to be able to talk much about this. All right. A system is anything that works with your subconscious, kind of. Yeah. That's one. I mean, when it comes to your mind, the system is anything that works in your subconscious or something that works without your regular input. So, for that business you're doing, how do you ensure that it is automated? It works in systems. How do you ensure that your life works in systems and structures? Systems rely on structures to work. Or structures. What are the pillars upon which your year is built upon, or upon which that habit you want to experience in 2026, that habit that is required to help you become, because you become through habits. You don't become just through confession. After confessing it, so that your brain recognizes it no longer as a virus, at that point, you're now saying, okay, what are the systems and the structures I need to build into this? Okay. All right. So, for instance, you say you want to be a great father in 2026. Now, say, okay, what are the systems and structures? So, one of them is, okay, I'm going to set my alarm. I'm going to have a cutoff time for my work. I'm going to come in earlier. While I was in the banking industry, what I did was, okay, when I saw that whenever I go to work, and then by the time I'm back, I'm already so tired from driving. Guess what I did? Because I want to still be able to have time for the family. I dropped my car. It was rash, right? I dropped my car. I wasn't driving to work. So I tried it a couple of times and saw that, oh, I was stronger and better. Except on those days when Third Mainland traffic would be like 4 hours. Except on those days. But I found out that I was more functional when I get back from work. Systems and structures. That will help you achieve that goal. The last one is commit to guidance and accountability. Most times when people hear about accountability, they feel like I can do it on my own, relying on your brain, your emotions, and your willpower. You are not so smart to rely on this and still build wealth. You see, for most wealthy people I know, they don't do as much as most middle class and broke people do. Most people in the visionary, in the significant, they don't do as much. Do they work hard? Yes, they work hard. They work hard with intensity. They have a project and then they are all out. I was with someone yesterday and she's trying to see me. Like I've done a couple of things for her. And then she was like, oh, the last time I looked, I saw you. You were pretty stressed. And says, oh, now you look quite better. Because I was going through a level of work for intensity at that time. Now, accountability is more important. It is very important in your goal to financial freedom. You see, we've been told this thing that makes us feel that we don't need anybody in our lives. You need a body that works with you. Sometimes an accountability system might be devices that helps you, that alerts you. But having a body, someone beside you that takes you up when you are following the wrong path. So this was something that happened a couple of years ago in my family. So when I got married, or before I got married, I knew that my wife was an impulsive spender. So we had to work on it. We had some improvements and all that. A couple of years, I'm not sure if it's 3 or 4 years ago, thereabout. My wife went out and then she said, oh, I want to text someone and all that and all that. And then by the time she came in with words. I was kind of broken. Like, I thought we're past this. I thought we were past this. Sorry. Let's be 1 minute, please. Sorry, the light went off and all right. So she came in with words, and I was like, "Are we going back to where we started? Are we going back to where we started?" And all that. Of course, eventually we talked about it, and we knew that it's not like a virus had been injected. And even if a virus had been injected, there's an accountability body on this journey. So sometimes what you need is guidance. Okay. Most of the things I've said today, some people can still not process it. Some people might not be able to manage themselves. I missed it. You just might need guidance and you might need accountability. Don't take any of them for granted. They are required in your journey to wealth. I know that to a large extent, most of our parents have played a part in this lifestyle. Yeah, I told you I don't have friends, you shouldn't keep friends and all that. I'm not telling you that Jesus Christ had disciples. I'm not telling you that they were the beloved even among the disciples. I'm not telling you because they do not know that what you should be concerned about is building the right friendships and not about not having the right friendship. Some people are not answerable to anybody on earth. I don't understand. I don't understand. So you need guidance. We all do. You're on a different path, you're on a new path. It's just the same way in which your children rely on you, on their path. You also require people. You require people. So as we enter into 2026, this is a very important aspect of your journey to wealth. It's a very important aspect. So we have set up a system in which if you want to start strong in 2026, a system that will jolt you, programs that will jolt you to do that. So what's your plan for 2020? Oh, I said 2025, 2026. What's your plan for 2026? What's the plan? If you want to repeat the same experience, forget about these steps. The Bible says that there is no one who wants to build a tower that does not first sit down and count the cost. Guys, there's no way in which you will have a productive 2026 without having a retreat with yourself. None. No way. So some people just go all the way running up and down. And throughout the year, they raced all through. And then at the end of 2026, it's still the same story. But what would your 2026 December 20th look like? If we have to meet again in 2026, I want to be sure that you are joyful, you have broken one habit, you have become more. Is that not what you would want in your life too? Come 2026, wouldn't you want to become more? Wouldn't you want to look at that goal and say, yes, I am fired up for another? So we have set up a 1 month system, a 1 month programming for you. You can see it's so cheap. 1 month of learning how to start strong. So one of the reasons we came up with this concept is we did some research and find out that if you improve in your life for 1% every day, by the end of that 1 year, you'll be 37 times better. It's called the principle of compounding. And guess what? Compounding is not about addition, but it's about multiplication. So it's just like somebody who says that this year I was able to make $1 million. Next year, when you do your calculation, you now say, okay, I'm going to be able to make 1.2 million naira. That is addition. That's not geometric growth. But if you improve daily by 1% every day, do you know that you will be 37 times better? So we have set a system in which that can help you to grow by using 1% of your day. So I'm saying this. You don't need an hour to become a better person in 2026. You don't need 30 minutes. So many people say, oh, okay, I don't have all the time. What if you can do something in 14.24 minutes in a day? You can do something for 15 minutes in a day that will make you grow, that will make you become a better person in 2026. What if you can do that? 1% growth daily. So we are saying that 15 minutes every day. You commit 15 minutes every day to learning, to performing several activities just for yourself, because we know people are always hyped up in January 2026, but most times by the third week, they are out. That's why we came up with this. You're growing, you're developing 1% daily. All right. There's an accountability system update. So that means that you can update your growth. Okay. You can update your growth for that period. We are going to be talking about goals, mindset, and investing. Okay. So there is also a financial activity you have to do daily. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag or the bag out of the cat. All right. Sorry, one minute. All right. So sorry, my kids. All right. So goals, mindset, and investing. We're going to have a financial growth program, okay, within that period, or a financial activity, daily financial activity that will only cost you like less than 3 minutes in your day. Daily wealth mindset podcast. So you're going to have to listen to podcasts. We're also going to give you some things, some content that will require for you to help your growth in whatever you focus on in 2026. So this evening, I am making a call for you to grow, a call for you to become better. As you start 2026, I think you should start with your best and program yourself for 1 month so that you can program yourself for another 2, 3 months. Go through a programming from January to March. That is going to set you apart, your meals, in your skills, in your knowledge, and your ability. So, guys, here's to welcoming you to a new life. But then it's your choice to pick or not to pick. All right. So, do you have any questions? Questions? Yeah, this evening. Questions. Sandelin, Nick, and some people have joined the challenge already. Fisayo, Eunice, I have iPhone, I have Jello, Joy. Oh, Joy, you're here today. All right, Oluwashel. So, guys, do you have questions? Questions for this evening? If you don't have questions, tell me, what have you learned? What was profound for you in today's class? What was profound for you? What's that thing that you have learned that you feel, I didn't see it that way, right? You could drop in the chat, you could unmute yourself and say something. So I'm listening. Who's there? Who wants to say something?
Hello, can I say something?
Yes, please do. Good evening, bro.
Oh, good evening. Thank you for sharing this once again.
Yeah.
So there's something you said in the closing during about when you're about to round up, and
Okay.
you got you to home. I don't need to say it's not hard. So you've broken it down to the simplest state, to the simplest form. I don't need to say I don't have time, I don't have 1 hour to spend or 2 hours or 3 hours. I just
Yeah,
need 15 minutes.
yeah,
Can I
yeah,
have 15 minutes? Yes, I can make 15 minutes. Either
yeah,
make it in the morning when I wake up before my activity starts, or I'll
exactly,
just have to pick a time that works. So it becomes a routine. I will have to
exactly,
pick a time that works so it becomes a routine. And it makes sense, 15 minutes
exactly,
every day.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I can live with that. And it's not too much to invest in my visionary journey. It's
Yeah,
not too much.
awesome,
Yeah.
awesome,
Thank you.
awesome. Yeah, you're welcome. See, success is about routine. It is not about intensity. Discipline is about routine, not intensity. So comparing intensity in my last class, I said something. I said, if you say that you want to build your muscles and you decide that today I'm going to live, eat, dream, everything, I'm going to do it in the gym. You wake up in the morning and you say, okay, I'm going to live, I'm going to have, I'm going to push up from morning till night, or I'm going to lift whatever from morning till night. No matter what you do within 24, 48 hours, no matter how intense it is, if you have the power to even go to, no matter how much, you will not get the result. You will not get your biceps. But if you say that, okay, I'm going to commit 30 minutes every day, I'm going to commit 15 minutes every day, you will see the result. To a large extent, I struggled with prayers, I mean, personal times of prayers. And until I said, okay, I'm going to do 30 minutes every day. Of course, I have a body. My wife was always checking that. She does like over an hour every day in the prayer walk. And I said, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. So I started and I did 30 minutes daily. I still do it because even when I look at the person beside me, she's doing over an hour every day. A couple of things. I sometimes began to have BP issues. I have not had it since I had become consistent. 30 minutes every day. 30 minutes. So I use that time to both exercise myself and I also use that time to also pray. 30 minutes. So it's not about intensity. Most times people are always trying to be intense. And that's why we depend on will, we depend on emotions. Thank you, bro. Thank you. So who else want to say something or you have something you learned? So anybody? Okay. So if you want to have 15 minutes daily, 15 minutes daily routine, you can join this program. As at today, the early bird closed 4,500. We did a very early bird too. But now the price is, I think the price is about 5,000 naira. This is easy for you to join. So we lowered the entry barrier. We lowered the entry barrier. In fact, if you're coming in, if you're three guys now, I think you can still pay 12,000 naira to join. We lowered it because we want as many people to be able to get into the system, which they can spend 15 minutes every day for their growth. 15 minutes consistent daily actions is going to change your life tremendously, guys. You may not believe it, but of course, 5,000 naira is quite small for you to test with it, test it. But this is going to depend a whole lot on you. So you're going to have a podcast, 3 to 5 minutes every day from me, just talking about, just helping you to change how you think, how you function up there. You're going to have that. You're going to have a financial task you're going to commit to daily. It's going to be more, you're going to have most of this information at the start of the program. Guys, understand this. I don't need your 5,000. Even if this program was 20K, I don't need it. Last week, we started one of our programs and then the least package was 300K. So it's not like I need your 5,000 will not change anything in my life. But we had to lower the barrier to entry so that many people can join. Could you have done it for free? Yes, but you remember where your treasure is, there your heart would be also. So no matter how small the treasure, and one of the reasons we even marked up the price, because our former challenge we did 3,000, we did less than that. One of the reasons we marked up the price was because we saw that people were not even respecting that. So I mean, give a little push so that people can join. All right. So guys, it's your choice. 2026 is before you. You have to decide. Do you want whether you want life or the other one? Whether you want a better 2026 or you want just as it has been. So guys, it's your opportunity to make that change in your life. Right? So Ore, do you have the link for people who wants to register? So if you want to register, you can join with the link. So Ore is going to share. Ore, do you have the link?
Yes, I'll paste it now, sir.
Okay, please do. So for as many as I've not, you've been seeing an admin, a channel manager. That's Ore. She's the wonderful lady that's been taking the stress off us at Bold Money Moves, and she's been doing a good job. All right. So guys, it's your choice. This is what my final words is this. Whatever you do, because you came in contact with this class today, ensure that you make 2026 your best year ever. Make it your best year ever. I'm also doing that. Make 2026 your best year ever. Don't come back and have the same story, the same experience in 2026. Be committed to your growth. Nobody's going to do it for you. The government is not going to save you. Nobody's here to work for you. Nobody's here to make your life better. You are the architect. And like I said, it is you, your God, what you know, and what you do. All right. So guys, stay blessed. The link has been dropped in the chat. If you're interested, you join. See you in January. All right. Good night and compliments of the season to you. Okay.